Working together, we will begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream. I've spent my entire life in business looking at the untapped potential in projects and in people all over the world. That is now what I want to do for our country. Tremendous potential. I've gotten to know our country so well. Tremendous potential. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Every single American will have the opportunity to realize his or her fullest potential. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. We are going to fix our inner cities and rebuild our highways, bridges, tunnels, airports, schools, hospitals. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure, which will become, by the way, second to none. And we will put millions of our people to work as we rebuild it. We will also finally take care of our great veterans. We will double our growth and have the strongest economy anywhere in the world. At the same time, we will get along with all other nations willing to get along with us. We will be. We'll have great relationships. We expect to have great relationships.
One strong point there has to do with those who are willing to get along with them. So there is a caveat to all of that friendship when the hands are out there. But that will also mean a whole lot when it comes to its international relations with other nations of the world. But the Democratic candidate, Mrs. Clinton, has also been speaking on this acceptance of the result. And perhaps we should just listen to her and get a refresh our memories on what she did say earlier on.
That he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude for this wonderful campaign that we built together. This vast, diverse, creative, unruly, energized campaign. You represent the best of America, and being your candidate has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I know how disappointing.
And even world leaders have also been speaking on this. They all sent out their congratulatory messages. And I'm hoping that we get to listen to some of them just before we get on with our very first guest now.
From congratulatory to fearful, world leaders and citizens in countries across the planet have expressed a wide range of opinions on the news that Donald Trump has been voted as U.S. next president-elect. In Moscow, President Vladimir Putin sent in a congratulatory note saying he hopes they could get the U.S. and Russia relations out of crisis.
As I have already said many times, it is not our fault that Russia-U.S. relations are in the state they are in now. But Russia is ready and wants to restore full-fledged relations with the United States.
Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull sent in a congratulatory message to the new U.S. President-elect.
On behalf of the Australian Government, I offer my congratulations to President-elect Donald Trump on his historic election victory, of which he has just spoken moments ago in New York.
Throughout his campaign, Trump pledged to take the U.S. on a more isolationist America First path. His position raised the possibility of damaging relationships with America's most trusted allies in Europe, Asia and the Middle East. Although Trump vowed to renegotiate the Iran nuclear deal, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif is calling for U.S. President-elect to stick to the international agreement and stay committed to the multilateral nuclear deals.
As far as the Islamic Republic of Iran is concerned, since Iran and the United States haven't had political relations, what is important is that the future U.S. President-elect is obliged to stay committed to this not bilateral but multilateral nuclear deal.
And in Berlin, where German Chancellor Angela Merkel's defense minister described the news as a huge shock. French President François Hollande also sent in his congratulatory messages, but warned that the results will open up a period of uncertainty.
I congratulate him, as is natural between two democratic heads of state. I am thinking of Hillary Clinton, with whom I worked during the Obama presidency. This American election opens a period of uncertainty. I have to face it with a clear head and clarity.
The presidency will be Trump's first elected office and remains to be seen how it will work with Americans and the rest of the world.
Once again, the whole business is the business of rebuilding America and how best he can work with those who see America as its own ally and friend. So we'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll go back and look at some of the issues and how it affects the continent, Africa.
Donald Trump was born into wealth on June 14, 1946, in the New York City borough of Queens, the fourth of 5 children of Fred Trump, who will become one of the city's biggest developers and landlords, and his wife. By his own admission, Trump was not an easy child, and in the 8th grade, his parents sent him to the New York Military Academy in hopes of instilling needed discipline. Through student and medical deferments during the Vietnam War, Trump would never serve in the U.S. military, but said the school gave him more training militarily than a lot of the guys that go into the military. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, Trump went to work for his father's company, and with a $1 million loan from his father, Trump eventually went into business himself in Manhattan. He soon made his mark with a series of real estate and development deals, including redoing an old hotel in New York's Grand Central Terminal. In 1983, he opened his flagship, 58-story Trump Tower, which serves as both his primary residence and Trump Organization headquarters. From his entrance into the Republican presidential race on June 16, 2015, Donald Trump has managed to be simultaneously charismatic and combative, elitist and populist, lewd and pious, as he exploited the polarity and anti-Washington anger amongst American youth.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
He drew enthusiastic crowds to rallies where people cheered him for just saying what everybody's thinking. It took 70-year-old Trump little more than 10 months to vanquish 16 other candidates and become the first major party nominee since General Dwight D. Eisenhower in the 1950s to have no government experience.